This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening to everyone. So, all of them are joining the session. Let they. So, the previous session we had discussed on a cyclical approach. Yes, we had gone for a receipt note voucher, then we had a rejection out voucher, followed by we had a delivery note voucher. Yes, and then a rejection in voucher. So, it also told you that these vouchers are passed before raising the sales invoice. So I'll just give a small clarity, a small revision before we move on to the next set of concepts. Okay. So yes, yesterday we had made a list, right? So we had started with the receipt vouchers. So before that, I will make like this. Before invoice, before raising the invoice, okay, and we have after invoice or on invoice, I can say on invoice. Now, before the invoice, we'll come back to this later. We have receipt note voucher. Now, if we talk about the purchase aspect, right? If we talk about the inflow or receipt of goods, okay, first one we go for is receipt voucher. Then we have to reject the damaged goods back to the supplier. We have a rejection out voucher. Yes, on receipt of goods. Now, after the invoice, when we come here, after invoice is raised, we pass a purchase voucher, and then to record the return of stock after the once a bill is raised, we go for a debit. This is how we go. So this is before invoice and this is after invoice. Okay. So one we have before invoice and second we have this after invoice. Now if we go for the sale of goods, again what do we have? Again, if we talk about before invoice, we have delivery note voucher. Then when the customer returns the goods before the bill is raised, rejection in voucher. Then after the invoice or on raising the invoice, we have a sale voucher and we have a credit note. Yes, this is how we get the clarity before invoice and after the invoice. So I hope all of you are clear till here. Here there is no impact of GST. So if we talk about the receipt in voucher, rejection out voucher, delivery note voucher, rejection in voucher, there is no impact of GST here. Okay, no GST is involved, no GST component. But here on a sales voucher or on a credit note, there is GST component involved. So right, so this is how it takes place. Now once after this we start another new concept that is creation of new voucher types, right? So let's do that. Now, so far we have used those vouchers which are already created by the Tally software. Yes. So we have used how many vouchers? If you go and check back, let's go for the first voucher we have used. We began with contra voucher. Yes. Then we had payment voucher. After payment voucher, we had receipt voucher. We had journal voucher. Then with the inventory section, we first had purchase voucher. Then we had a debit note, sales voucher, credit note, stock journal, physical stock, and receipt note voucher, rejection out, delivery note voucher, rejection in voucher. So these are all the vouchers which I've already created by the Tally software. The user uses these vouchers to pass the entries in accordance with his business situation or in accordance with his business requirements. Okay. Now, in addition to these vouchers, we can also create the voucher as per our requirement. Our requirement in the sense, the user's requirement, how I want in my business. If I have to regulate any payments, any transactions, okay? That time, if I require voucher, then I can design my own voucher, which means to simplify my transactions or those entries which do not fall under any of the voucher types can be defined in this voucher. So, creation of new voucher types. In TallyPrime, there are predefined vouchers available to record the transactions. So, just now we saw all the predefined voucher types. However, one can create voucher types to suit specific requirements using the predefined voucher type as the base. Okay. Now, here I've given the track. We have to go to the gateway of Tally, alter. Under accounting masters, we have the voucher types. So let us, all of us, view which are the predefined voucher types which are existing already in Tally. So let's begin. Please log into your companies. So let's watch out for the predefined voucher types. Yes. So we'll go to the alter first before going to the create option. Select alter. Yes, so here we have, you can watch here under accounting masters, you have voucher type. So select voucher type, press enter on that. Yes, so these are the vouchers which are already existing in Tally, which most of them which have already used it. Okay. In addition to these voucher types, we can also create a voucher depending upon the user's business requirements. So at the top only we have the create option. Okay. Now if you go to show inactive before showing create, it will also show those voucher types which have not been activated at all. Okay. Like payroll, job workout order, job working order, attendance vouchers. Okay. So what we'll do is now we will create a new voucher type depending upon our business requirement. But before that, let me make you understand how this goes about. Yes. Now, every time we regulate the payments of our company, payment for the purchase of assets, payment for the purchase of stock, payment for stationery, then payment of rent, salaries, like this, we have n number of expenses for which payment is regulated. So every time we have to use a payment voucher, select the bank account, and we have to pass the entries. Yes, so all of us have been doing this from the day one. But today I will show you that with one voucher type we can pass more than one entry at a stretch. Now, before creating this new voucher type, first of all, we have to make an assumption that our company bank account is existing. Now, I think I've told a number of times. We'll assume HDFC Bank, Canara Bank, Axis Bank as our company's bank account. Yes? So, you can assume any bank as your company's bank account. If you require, you can check the bank balance of the bank. So, probably which is having sufficient balance to regulate the payments, that bank can be selected and kept ready by all of us. So then we can go for the creation of bank payment voucher types. So let us do that first. Now we have to assume one bank as our company's bank account. Now normally what happens? Now rarely checks are used, yes. It's everywhere it is a refund transfer. Digital payments. Yes, you have Google Pay, you have Phone Pay, you have NEFT, RTGS transfers, IMPS. Yes, so all these, are like I can say not check based. So there is no document or there is no kind of paper based documentation. So everything is like digital. Now, from the same bank, we are regulating all the payments. Yes. So, here, let us check the bank balance and find out whether do we have sufficient bank balance in our company bank account. So, let's begin with that. So, okay, I'll go to Alt G, go to option, cash or bank book I'm having. Now here in my company, I check out that Canara Bank is having sufficient balance. Apart from Canara Bank, I'm also having State Bank of India. The rest of the banks comparatively have minimum amount of amount involved. So here it is SBI and Canara Bank. Okay, so I will choose one of them. Probably I will choose State Bank of India. Okay, so you can also choose that particular bank account and assume the same as company's bank account. Yes, now every company will have its own bank account through which salaries are regulated, rent, any kind of expenses are paid. Yes, so please assume any one bank account as your company's bank account and be ready before we create the voucher types. Now, if all of you are on the gateway of Tally screen, over there, select the option Create under Masters. Yes. Now here, under Accounting Masters, you have voucher type. Press enter on the voucher type. Yes. So this is the voucher type creation. Now coming back to the presentation, what I've told you. Creation of a bank payment voucher. Now what we will assume situation, as I've told, now it's all digital payments, right? So assuming State Bank of India Bank as our company's bank account, I will link the SBI Bank. I will create a bank payment voucher where in one voucher I can record all my payments by whichever mode I have made it. Okay, so how do I do it? I have shown you under masters you have create option, select voucher types. Now the title we'll give as bank payment. Now one thing you should remember, when we are creating user defined vouchers, so far we are using predefined voucher types which are created by the Tally software. Now what I'm talking about is a user defined voucher. Now here it is a user defined voucher, the bank payment voucher. Now, whenever we are creating the user defined voucher, we have to have the principal voucher, which means the user defined voucher, okay, is a sub voucher. So to create this sub voucher, we need to have a parent voucher, the principal voucher, the base voucher, and that is the predefined voucher type, what is already existing in the Tally software. Now here if you observe in the steps what I've given to create a bank payment voucher. Now bank payment voucher we are creating, but what is the principal voucher? What is the parent voucher to create a bank payment voucher? It is payment voucher. Got it? So to create a bank payment, the parent voucher should be the payment voucher. Suppose if I am creating, let's say, uh, a manufacturing voucher, manufacturing based voucher, then the base voucher for it, it should be a stock journal voucher, like that. So for each user defined voucher, there has to be a parent voucher. Okay. Now abbreviation, however the user wants, requires, it can be given. Always method of voucher numbering is automatic, which means all of you would have observed this, right? Whenever we go for the voucher number, it will automatically come as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we don't count how many vouchers we have used of contra, payment, receipt, or journal. Rather, Tally itself makes a count that how many vouchers we have used of each of the voucher type. Yes, and name of the class, it's nothing. We have given as enter, but then we fall into the bank payment class. Okay, so let's go back to the Tally screen. Yes, so name what you're giving here as bank payment voucher. My bank payment voucher. Just a second. So once you give the name of bank payment voucher, press enter. No alias, no nickname we are giving. Now we have select type of voucher, right? So what is the parent voucher for a bank payment voucher? It is payment voucher. Select payment voucher from list of voucher types. Abbreviation, if you want, you can leave it as PYMT or BK bank dot PYMT. Okay. Bank payment voucher. Activate this voucher type. Let it be yes. Method of voucher numbering. Choose automatic because so far we have seen all automatic method of numbering. Manual means if you want to give the voucher number, can be given. Tally will not give the voucher number. Okay. But as of now, you can choose automatic. Use advanced configuration, no. Okay. Come to the name of the class by pressing enter. Arrive at the name of the class. Now which bank you have decided or assumed as the company bank account, the name of the bank you have to give here in name of the class. Now I decided that State Bank of India bank is my company bank account. So what do I do is SBI payment class. So name of the class I'll give as State Bank of India payment class. Okay. Like this, if you have chosen HDFC payment class. If you have chosen Canara Bank payment class. Okay. So once you give the name of the class, press enter, you get this screen. Okay, SBI payment class screen. Now over here you have the first option. Use class for cost center based bank allocations. Now, what is this cost center based bank? Suppose if a company is having the same bank probably in more than one branch. Let's say it is having in two branches. One is in Jayanagar Food Block, the other is in Sheshandripuram, something like that. Okay. So what happens is it is more than one branch, the bank account is operational, functional, yes, for the company. Suppose if the complete bank account is maintained only in one branch, then there is no applicability of the cost center. So you can retain cost center as no itself. So use class for cost center based bank allocation, let it be no. Okay, press enter. Now we have include these groups and exclude these groups. What is this include these groups and exclude these groups? Now here, Tally is questioning you would like to include any other bank in addition to the bank which you have linked to the bank payment voucher. If I have to link like HDFC Bank or Canara Bank in addition to the SBI bank account, like more than one bank I'm carrying for the companies, then you can link any other bank or any overdraft account or including cash in hand. Suppose you're regulating all the payments only through one bank account, one single bank account, that time in both the columns, that is, exclude these groups, include these groups in both the columns. You can give it as end of list. Okay, please give it as end of list. Now, so we'll come to the bottom ledgering. So what has been given there at the top? Specific ledger for which this class is created. For example, cash or bank account. So we have to link the bank account which was assumed by us as a company's bank account or decided this is a company's bank account. So what we'll do is we will select the bank that is the company's bank account. Now here I will choose State Bank of India Bank. That's it. So once you press enter, you're back to the voucher type creation screen. Yes. Now once you create the voucher type, press enter. Yes. So save the changes. Now if you press the escape key, press the escape key. Yes. Now what we can do is we can go back to the alter option. Select the alter under masters. Select the voucher types under accounting masters. Can you observe here? In addition to the voucher types already created by the Tally software, already existing, we also have bank payment voucher. Just a second. Yes. So in addition to the voucher types already existing, we also have bank payment voucher. So can you observe here? It's very much evident. Now press escape key, come back to the gateway of Tally screen. So now we have the bank payment voucher ready. Now let's go back to the entry. So same we have entered even in the Tally screen also. Yes, automation of invoices. Company uses State Bank of India bank account. Here I've given SBI. In case you have chosen any other bank account also, it's okay. Company uses SBI bank account for all the bank payments that they make. It can avoid selecting the SBI bank account ledger every single time a bank payment transaction is made. Yes, normally when we are passing a purchase payment voucher, what do we do? To make the payment of any expense or purchase of any assets. Every time we go to the list of ledgers, we select the bank account and we have to pass the entry. But now there is no tension of such. There is a separate voucher where more than one entry, okay, can be passed, and it is like filtered. It is subject to only the payment entries concerning the bank account. Now, at the bottom I've given you the SBI payment class. Now just now we have created the SBI payment class, right? Where the list of voucher types we give the bank payment, then the parent voucher is payment voucher, name of the class is SBI payment, include or exclude these groups list we have end of list, and under specific ledger we had linked the SBI bank account. Once we are done with this, press yes, enter. Now here I've given a small entry. How do we do this? I've given here on 1st of October 2021. Your dates can't be changed as one of the limitation, but I've just given for the sake of the case or the situation. However you want to can define it. On 1st of October, the company made a check payment of 1,50,000 towards the following expenses for the month of September. Now, for the complete month of September, gross amount of expenses is 1,50,000. So to pay this, of course, uh, we are using the bank payment voucher. Now, which are all the expenses which are being incurred for the month of September? Let's check. Right, so we have this is rent. Now, rent is paid by means of check. And what is the total rent? It is 30,000. Next is salary. Salary is paid by refund transfer. And this is a normal way we receive all our salaries. Yes, it's only the refund transfer. Now, time has gone where the employer used to issue checks or ask the bank details of the employee. It is nothing now. For every company creates its own bank account, okay, where all the employees' details are updated, and then the salaries will be credited. Now here salary we have is this 10,000, then we 50,000, then we have printing and stationery 10,000, purchase of furnitures check 30,000, miscellaneous expenses, which is payment is done by Google Pay 10,000, bills payment current bill, water bill, telephone bill. So here phone pay also have given all three bills 20,000. Okay, so let's pass this entry even in Tally too, and let's find out how it goes about. Right? So let's pass the entry. Now the first step we have to take is we have to go to payment vouchers. So press F5. First of all, go to vouchers. Okay. Next, you're already in the payment voucher. Yes, I hope all of you are the payment vouchers. Now what you have to do is, what is the function key for a payment voucher which has been taught to you? It is F5. So press F5 again, though you're already in the payment voucher. All of you are able to view this list of voucher types where we have the bank payment voucher and the payment voucher. Yes, you can just reply in the chat box whether you're able to get this. Have you got this list of voucher types?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Right, so now what happens is Tally is asking you whether you want to use only a payment voucher, like as usual we have used all this time, right? Or you want to utilize a bank payment voucher. So what do I do is now I have to regulate all my payments to State Bank of India Bank, right? So what do I do is I will select a payment voucher, bank payment voucher. Okay, select bank payment voucher. Now which class? Now if I'm having more than one method of payment, then I can choose SBI payment class or HDFC or Canara Bank or also cash, anything. So as of now, I've created State Bank of India payment class. So select that. Yes. Now, can you observe here? You have the account name, State Bank of India bank account. You have the current balance depicted. Now, what is this mode which we are watching? We have account, particulars, and amount. There is no debit or credit involved. So, which system of bookkeeping is this? Which accounting system is it being followed when we go for the user defined vouchers? And this happens by default. We are in the single entry system of bookkeeping. Yes. Now, here we have a huge list of expenses. Yes. So let's go back to those expenses now. Yes. So first of all, we have rent. And what is the total amount of rent paid by the company is 30,000. Okay. So space bar. I think rent ledger is already existing. So choose rent paid. Type 30,000. Once you type 30,000, press enter. Even though cost centers are activated, there is no harm. Okay, I'm here I've considered as Bangalore Chanaga, so I've written it the same. Press enter. Now, which is the second entry? Salary 15.
Ma'am, it's
Yes, pa.
ma'am, it's
Yes, pa, tell
asking
me.
tax
Sandra.
classification details.
For which rent? Is it
Yes,
asking for rent ledger? What you can do is
yes,
either you can just press enter for it, it will come back to the main screen. Press enter. Don't select anything over there. You're able to
yes,
come to
ma'am,
the
got
back.
it.
That's it. Otherwise, what you can do is when you're creating ledger itself, then and there only is GST applicable. You can give it as not applicable. So let's not disturb GST for this. Okay. Now, what is the second one I've given there? Salary, right? So again, press the space bar. I don't think we're having salaries. So you have to create a ledger of salaries. So select the create option, salary. Under indirect expenses, type of ledger not applicable. Cost center, I will leave it to you. In case if you want to activate, you can do it. You can give it as Bangalore, Janagar. Okay. Otherwise, it's fine. No matter. There's no worry over here. Okay. So press enter. Yes. Here you have to be a little careful. Is GST applicable? Press the space bar. Here only terminate GST. Not applicable. That's all. It will not ask you the GST details. Include accessible value. Not applicable. That's all. So what is the total amount of salary? It is 50. So try 50,000. Okay. Now next is printing and stationery 10,000. Space bar. Now again I'm not having printing and stationery. So again I'll go to the create option. Printing and stationery. Under indirect expenses. Type of ledger not applicable. Cost center no. GST not applicable. Include accessible value not applicable. So what is the printing? It is 10,000. Next. Purchase of furnitures 30,000. Okay. So either you can give it as purchase account or you can give it as purchase of furnitures. Okay. So space bar, or if you have furniture account also can be given. I think all of us we are having furniture account, right? So you can give that also, not an issue. But if you ask me, purchase of furniture account almost holds the same. But in case if you are creating a ledger in the name of purchase, drop it under purchase, or you can also select furniture, no harm. So how much is the value? It is 30,000. So type 30, press enter. Now, next is which ledger we have to create. Miscellaneous expenses 10,000. Space bar, create miscellaneous expenses. Under that expenses, GST again not applicable. This time 10,000. Next, the last one, bills. Current bill, water bill, telephone bill, all are paid through phone pay, or you can also give it as Google Pay, whichever digital payment bills. So again, space bar, create bills. Again, same with direct expenses. GST not applicable. Now here it is 20. So I hope all of you have created these ledgers. If not, make sure you create it. Then we can move on to the amount column altogether. So just display the list of expenses for you. If you have not done, make sure you finish it off. And then we can proceed. Now, if you observe here, for the bills I've given as current, water, and telephone, all put together it is 20,000. There, bottom I've given as phone pay. All three bills are being paid by phone pay. Okay. Now, here for bills payment, since I've given as current, water, and telephone, what feature we can add here if required? Now, here I've not added any feature for bills ledger, but in case we have to segregate or allocate the complete or the whole amount of 20 among current, water, and telephone, which feature can be activated here when we are creating the ledger for bills? Which is that we can use here? Come on, think. Now let's make an assumption that yes. Now total amount is 20. Okay. Total amount is 20,000. Out of total amount, I make an assumption that current bill is 10,000. Water bill is 5,000, 6,000, and telephone bill or the BSNL bill is 4,000. Okay, so all put together it is 20. Now here I can use which feature? I can use cost categories and cost centers. Now if I have to create a cost category and cost center, how we are going to do it? As cost category, we can give as bills, and as cost center, we can give as what I've given here: current, water, and telephone. So shall we do that? Okay, so I've given here the amount. There in the problem I've given as 20,000 as the whole amount, but here I've given the bifurcation. For current bill we have spent 10, water bill 6, telephone bill 4. So if we are creating cost category to show the sub allocation of these expenses, we can create a cost category as bills, and cost centers can be current, water, and telephone. Okay. So now we have not yet passed the entry, right? We are still pending in this. So here in this screen itself, we can press Alt G, go to option, select Alter Master, select the ledger as bills. Now you get a feature as cost centers are applicable, make it as yes. It's just one sample I'm showing. How can you do that? We've activated the cost centers. Now again, I have to create the cost categories and cost centers. That can also be done, but that can be done even on spot. But in case not comfortable to do it on spot, here only we can press Alt G, create master. We select cost category, and here bills as a cost category. Allocate revenue items yes, non-revenue no. Now we'll press escape key and go to the cost centers. Now first you have to choose the cost category, so space bar. Now we had created earlier advertisement, Bangalore, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and primary cost category existed by default. Yes, as a default cost category. Now for this purpose we will choose bills as cost category. Now first we'll create current bill. Okay. Same under primary, water bill, and telephone bill. Okay, press escape key. Now we'll come back to the voucher. Right. Now we'll press enter. Yes, so we are in this bank allocation screen. Yes, State Bank of India bank allocation screen. Now the total amount to be discharged or uh, total amount to be paid from the company, it is 1 lakh 50, right? Now here, along with me, you have to go very slowly. Now first we have this rent. Yes. Now rent is paid by what? Rent is paid by check. Okay. And the amount is 30,000. So rent is paid by check. So ledger name, we will retain it as rent only. Transaction type check itself. But what we have to do here is we have to change the amount from 1 lakh 50 to 30,000 because Tally will assume that completely 1 lakh 50 is rent. No, it is only 30. So only change the amount column. Don't make changes anywhere else. Once you type 30, press enter. You will come to the instrument number. Nothing but check number. Here you can give the check number. I'll give her 003148 as a check number. Press enter. Here instrument date as usual 1st of April. Press enter. Now the second ledger which we had created is salary. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to press backspace. Press backspace and here you have to choose salary. Choose salary here. Now salary is made by which mode? It is made by e-fund transfer. So what you have to do is you have to select e-fund transfer. Now what is the gross amount of salary? It is 50,000. Okay. So type the amount as 50,000. Now account number. Now we are regulating the salary of all the employees from one account number of the company. Yes. Or in case if there is more than one payment, let's say the salary amount is around 5 lakhs, all that 5 lakhs can be transferred to all the employees of the company by giving the account number of the respective employees. Here I'm showing only one sample here. Okay, so here I'll give it as 001 IFSC code of State Bank of India. Bank name, specify bank name, State Bank of India. Now check, of course it is different. So given there as 003148 003149. Now after salary we have printing and stationery, right? So press backspace and select printing and stationery. Now printing and stationery is paid by what? Just cash. Please do unmute. Is it Deepika T? Deepika T. Deepika T, you have to unmute yourself. Is it Deepika T? Deepika T, can you unmute yourself? Mute yourself, please. I request And stationery. Of course, I will not give the check number here. Yes. So I'm not giving the check number.
Ma'am, your screen is not seen.
Give me a second. Please do mute yourself. If you have a question to raise, you have to unmute. Otherwise, do mute yourself. Are you able to view the screen?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's not seen.
Okay, wait a moment. Now you're able to view the screen?
Yes, ma'am, it's seen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So printing and stationery, we need not give the check number. Press the space bar, press enter, and don't remove the instrument date, because if you remove, see, if I give a space bar here, if I press enter, it will not allow me to go to the next one. Got the point? So don't ever remove the date. A date is very, very important in Tally. Here we have to give as 1st of April. Otherwise, if we are a licensed user, as I've told you, we can change the date from 1st of April to 31st of March, any date. But as of now, we have to stick on to 1st, 2nd, or 31st of the month. So now, after printing and stationery, next we have furniture, right? So again, the backspace, change the ledger to furniture. Now, how is the furniture purchase taking place? It is by a check. Okay. So we'll retain check itself. And what is the value of furniture? It is 30,000. Here we can give the check number. I think 1 minute. Probably we have. Yes, it is appearing by default. We can give it as 000. The furniture is check 30,000. Again, check, we can give the check number here. Next we have miscellaneous expenses. Let's choose miscellaneous expenses. Now how the miscellaneous expenses are being paid? Google Pay, 10,000 we are paying by Google Pay. So what we'll do is we will choose others here and the amount is 10,000. So change the amount as 10. So once it is done by Google Pay, again there is no check. So in case if it's taking the same, what I've told you, just give it as 0. Next is last one we have is bills. So again press the backspace, select the bills option. Now bills, of course, again we have your categories, right? Current, water and telephone, total phone pay we have paid. Now here in bills, of course, here it is 20,000. Now in case if we are paying 10,000 of bills, so here we have to choose others again and 10,000. Now again there is no check number involved. Again here choose again the bills option. Again you can select as others. Here again you can give it as 6,000. Again you can give it as blank. The last one again one more bill which should be being paid. Others 4,000. Like this. There is one more option where here I've just mentioned as bills and bills, right? As I've told, I've given the cost category as current bill, water bill, and telephone bill. Now, what we can do is this is one way of passing the entry. The second is here in the bills only I've given as 20, right? Which I will show you in the alteration of vouchers. So, this is one of the ways where we pass the bank payment voucher. With the usage of cost categories and cost centers, also we can pass by retaining the above part. Okay? So now we are able to realize that in one payment voucher, we are able to make all the payments. Yes, 1,50,000 worth of payment we have processed through one bank payment voucher. Yes, so don't you think for an accountant it is extremely easier where per day he has so many transactions, n number of transactions, and if he has to process or settle pass all these transactions at one go, he can use a bank payment voucher. And once we have recorded all the entries, recorded all the expenses purchase, at the top above, we can also see the current bank balance of the bank. So we need not wait or we need not refer the cash or bank summary. We can view directly the State Bank of India bank balance at the top. It is showing as current balance. Got it? So narration, what we can give it as being payment of expenses made for the month of September. Then I'll give it as for the month of September. Like this, we can include taxes, any other petty expenses. So being payment of expenses made for the month of September. That's it. Press enter and we can pass the entry. Now, what I will do is you can just watch out how I can go for the usage of cost categories and cost centers. I hope all of you have passed this entry. Okay. Now, what will I do is I'll go to the daybook and I will press F4. I will select bank payment voucher. I will open up the voucher again. Okay. Now here, how to use those cost categories and cost centers. I'll just keep on pressing enter. Yes, until I come to bills here. Now in bills, if I press enter, can you see here? We have the cost category and cost center. Now over here, press the backspace, bills. The first one we have current bill, 10,000. Press enter. Water bill, 6,000. And telephone bill, 4,000. Can you make out here? Like this, we can also pass the entries. So there only directly it is being depicted with the usage of cost categories and cost centers. Now press enter. Yeah, so whatever we have made the entries, I will not change it anywhere. This is what I've given you. Bills. Yes, so here it will be the same only. Here it will not change. Okay, so like this we can pass the entry. That's it. So here only we can give a depiction, a presentation that 10,000 is for the current, 6,000 is for the water, and 4,000 is for the telephone bill, with the usage of categories and centers, cost categories and cost centers. So press enter. Yes, we can save the changes. Now if we go for the print option, how can we get this receipt of this particular voucher? We can open up this voucher and press Alt P. We can select current, review. Yes, so this is how Alt Z will zoom. Can you see here? This is how the complete voucher is generated. Bank payment voucher in the name of the company. If you want to get much more in detail also, it can be done. What I've told you, go to the configure option, show payment mode on top of the voucher, press enter to activate it as yes. Print payment advice, yes. Here 1st of April as the payment advice date. It's not probably. Give it as yes. Then we have include bill details. Yes. Whichever feature we want in the voucher screen, we can activate it. Okay. Show bank transaction details as yes. Show prepared by, verified by yes. Like this, we can activate the features. After you do, press Ctrl A and you can go to the preview option. Can you see here? Much more in detail. We can get payment advice itself. Yes. So the payment advice is clearly depicted. What is the check number? What is the payment mode? This payment advice is an advice, the instruction, which is also given for the banks, like how each expense have to be paid for the banks. Can you see here? It's a wonderful entry which takes place. Rent, how much, salary, printing and stationery, furniture, miscellaneous expenses, bills. Total amount is 1,50,000. And each of the payments are being shown here separately. The first is rent, 30, how it is paid by check, check number, check date, issued from State Bank. Next is salary, 50,000 NEFT. Next is ATM, what is it? Printing and stationery. Then check for furniture purchase, miscellaneous others. Can you see here? Kindly acknowledge the receipt, thanking you, Authorized signatory prepared by, checked by. In the page 2, we get the receiver signature verified by. So like this, we get a complete document. So more than this, we require any other further detail. I think it is apt where all the details are being processed here. Yes, this is how we can make. So configuration is such a feature where any features you want, you can activate the same. Like whichever feature you want to the invoice. As I told, we can design our own invoices, right? So whatever features we want to add, subtract, everything is in the user's hands. So if your printer is attached to the system, we can generate the printouts instantly. So let's proceed. I hope all of you have got till here. So this is how, by creating a voucher, what I've defined as a user-defined voucher, we can also regulate the payments. And one thing we should know, when we go for a user-defined voucher, okay, it will automatically take you to the single entry mode. We don't normally in a payment voucher we see the debit and credit option, right? But in this case, of course, we can change the mode from single entry to double entry, not an issue. But thing is, it will take you to single entry mode. Now, I'll just have a small discussion of the non-accounting vouchers before I start the same. Now, so far, whichever vouchers you have done until here, they're all accounting vouchers. We started from contra, then payment, receipt, journal, purchase, sales, receipt note, delivery note, rejection out, rejection in, including the bank payment voucher, which we have just now done. All these vouchers more or less affect our books of accounts. Yes, there is a change in the cash balance, the bank balance. Yes, all these things happen in the sense it will affect my financial statements. It will affect the company's financial statements. They have an impact on that. All these vouchers are defined as accounting vouchers. The first four are pure accounting vouchers. Which are the first four? Contra, payment, receipt, and journal. The others are all accounting come inventory vouchers because the inventory aspect is involved. Now, we are discussing about non-accounting vouchers. Now, as I told, accounting vouchers have an impact on the financial statements of an entity. But if I talk about a non-accounting voucher, they don't have any impact on the financial statements of the company. They don't have any impact. Even though I pass one, even though I pass 100 non-accounting vouchers, they don't have the impact at all. Okay, so these non-accounting vouchers are the special vouchers that are used to record the provisional or the non-accounting transactions. These non-accounting vouchers doesn't affect the regular books of accounts. Yes, this I have highlighted as intentionally. As I told, even though I pass 1 or 50 non-accounting vouchers, let's take an example. If my cash balance is around 3 lakh in my company, even though I pass 3 vouchers, 30 non-accounting vouchers, the cash balance of my company will remain 3 lakh itself. It will not even reduce by 1 rupee. It remains as 3 lakh. It remains untouched. Okay, so even though it is existing, it has a non-existing impact. So these are only non-accounting vouchers. So I've given here they are used to record the provisional or non-accounting transactions. Yes. So what kind of entries are they? If I talk about the provisional or non-accounting transactions, which means now, as of now, I have to pass this particular entry. It is required to record the entry in my company's books of accounts. But as an accountant, I have to make very much sure that these entries, whatever are past, should not affect my books of accounts, which means I should be safe. I have to record the entries, but simultaneously, there should not be any impact. Later on, of course, these entries have to be regularized. They can be brought back into the books of accounts, and once they're brought back into the books of accounts, they will immediately have an impact on the company's financial statements. Okay, so now we have two types of non-accounting vouchers. We have memorandum voucher, and second we have is optional sales voucher. Okay, so these are the two types of non-accounting voucher. We have a memorandum and we have this optional sales. Now, what do we understand by these memorandum vouchers? What do we mean by them? I've given here as when to use. When you are uncertain about the account to which the amount has to be allocated to when recording the transaction, that time memorandum voucher has to be used. When the account is determined, the memo voucher, actually memorandum voucher, in short it is reckoned as memo voucher. Okay, so when the account is determined, the memo voucher can be converted into a regular voucher and the transaction can be brought into the books of accounts. Until then, Tally stores these entries in a memorandum register. Yes. So, what is the first entry? When you are uncertain about the account to which amount has to be allocated to when recording the transaction. Now, I will give you a small example and then we can begin with the memorandum vouchers. Now, why the small example is important for all of you is passing the entries in the non-accounting vouchers is very easy, very simple. But why these entries have to be passed in a non-accounting voucher is extremely important for us to understand. Otherwise, there is no significance for non-accounting voucher. Okay. Now, here's a small example. Let's say after your graduation, after your higher studies in future, you get placed in one of the companies. Okay. Now it has been a couple of days. You have started your work. I can say you're the junior most, and a couple of your friends perhaps, but you're the junior most. Now what happens? There is a small workshop which is being conducted by a company where you have started working. Now, for that workshop to be conducted, there is a purchase activity which has to be carried out. Okay, probably some stationeries have to be purchased, some stocks have to be purchased, something, but some purchase activity is there. Now, what happens is this task is given to you because every employee in your company is engaged in one or the other work. Probably you are much free when compared to the other employees, so you are allotted this work. Now, what happens? This work is delegated to you, so you are given the work to make some purchases for the workshop, to conduct the workshop. So, what happens? You undertake that activity, you make the necessary, you take the cash from your senior employee, okay, or from your boss, from the head cashier or head accountant, whoever it is, who will allot you this work and he will send you. So let's take an example that head cashier, whoever, is giving you an amount of 1,000. For this example, let's take a nominal amount. So 1,000 rupees is being given to you to make some purchases. Okay, it's a very short purchase. so that you can finish your work and come. So what happens? The head cashier will hand over you 1,000 rupees. Now once he handovers you 1,000 rupees, okay, and sends you for that particular work, he has to record that entry immediately. Yes. Now, when he has to record that particular entry, how can he record? First of all, you have not yet gone for making the purchase. Second, even though you have already gone taking the amount, but still, what is the total cost incurred is unknown. Yes, it is not determined. Now, what happens is the head cashier or the accountant has to record this entry. But can he use the payment voucher that he has paid you 1,000 rupees? It can be out of the petty cash or the normal cash or out of the bank. Anything. Can he pass a payment voucher? Because once he passes a payment voucher, it will start affecting your books of accounts. Your cash balance can get subtracted, deducted. But there is no clarity of what the cost will be incurred. But an entry has to be made immediately because it has to be, safe. The entry has to be safe because if this is forgotten, then the 1,000 rupees will go off to the suspense account, where it has gone, for what purpose it has been spent. Yes. So what that head cashier or the accountant will do is he will not use a payment voucher, but rather he will pass the same entry what he would have passed in a payment voucher if the purchase activity had taken place. Okay, he will pass the same entry in a memorandum voucher rather than a payment voucher. Now, I have told that 1,000 rupees has been handed over to you for the purchase. Let's say for the purchase of stationery, what I've told you. Now, normally, what entry you would pass if I would say that you have to use a payment voucher? It would be stationery account debtor to cash account. The same entry he will pass in a memo voucher, right? So here I will give the explanation because it is not to pass the entry. It is it is a big link which will be carrying out. Okay, from memorandum to the payment vouchers. So is it clear whatever you have passed until here with the creation of the new voucher types? I would like to ask all of you. Whatever you have passed accounting vouchers, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I have explained you the payment vouchers until one stage, which we will carry out in the tomorrow session because I don't want to break the link with today's and tomorrow. So we will carry out the link. In case you have any doubts, let me know. If you're not able to get any entry or having any doubts, or we can bring an end for the session. So make sure whatever you have entries you've passed till here, please repeat it again, especially this creation of new voucher types, because once you do, it will not be in remembrance. So I hope you would repeat the same. Probably you can change the figures, even the expenses also. Now here I've given as rent, salary, printing and stationery, right? You can give as advertisement, sundry expenses like that. Okay, try passing the entry again with some new expenses, new amounts. So it gives a good practice again when you repass the entry. Okay, so make sure you have the practice still here. Okay, so we will carry out this memorandum voucher in the next session. Until then, keep your practice consistent. So we'll end the session for the day and meet you up in the next session. Thank you.